Thank you so much for keeping it KBC Channel 1. My name is Safin Achieng Ouma, and I'm about to have a conversation with a gentleman who has served this country in various capacities as a Vice President, a Deputy Prime Minister, and we are going to be talking about his plans for the future. I'm talking about none other than the ANC party leader, Musalia Mudavadi. He needs no further introduction. We are the Musalia Mudavadi Center. Thank you so much, Honorable, for having us.
Right. Thank you so much, Safina.
All right. So let's begin from what is currently cooking for you in terms of your political career. Just recently, you were endorsed as the ANC presidential candidate for 2022. The gloves are off. It's not a new journey for you. 2013, you were on this particular race. You're on the ballot as a presidential candidate. On several occasions, you've supported other presidential candidates. What's different this time around? Why do you feel and have the confidence that the time is ripe for you to serve this country as the 5th president?
Kenya must make a decision. Kenyans must make a choice. And to me, we are in a situation where we are not just reeling from the global effects of the pandemic of COVID, but we are also reeling from an economy that has been ravaged, an economy that is going through a lot of stress. People are hurting, people are losing jobs, companies are foreclosing, and so forth. So clearly, there's a major challenge in this country, and to me, it will be important that we put in place a government that will have a lot of focus on revamping the economy. And I think this is where the strength of my candidature comes in.
So you have a very strong inclination in the driving the economic agenda for the country. That's part of your vision for Kenya?
Absolutely. Right. Absolutely. In fact, I would put it very simply that my first agenda is the economy. My second agenda will be the economy. And my third agenda will be the economy. That is where we need to focus.
Okay. We'll talk more about what is in store for Kenyans with your candidature, and even if they give you a chance to become the 5th president as we proceed. But for the sake of your supporters, like I said when we were starting this conversation, it's not the first time, you're not new in this particular journey of clinching the top seat. What would give them the assurance that this time it's all the way to the finish line? There will be no other about turn or any other decision?
No. In fact, there has never been an about turn. You know, I sometimes get shocked as to how Kenyans forget so fast. Because in 2007, when we were in ODM. In fact, I'll take you backwards. I supported the current President Uhuru Kenyatta when he was the Kano presidential candidate, and I was in Kano at that time. Then in 2007 and 8 election, I supported Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, who was the candidate for ODM after a nomination process in which I participated in Kasarani. He emerged as the winner. I was a party member, so we supported him. Then 2013 I contested. But 2017, when the dynamics were that TNA and URP were coming together to form a juggernaut for the election purposes, it occurred to me, and indeed so many others, that if we continued to be a fragmented opposition at that time, it would be very difficult to offer a serious alternative to the people, for the people of Kenya. And that is how we created the National Super Alliance, NASA. Right? So when somebody says, what is different? Why are you going to be different? Are you going to do an about turn? There was no about turn.
This time it's to the finish line?
And first of all, let me first of all make it that there was no about turn. Mm-hmm. You know, when you are in a team and you are selfless and you are able to lend your support to your partner at a given season, mm-hmm. it should not be misinterpreted to mean that that is an about turn. It was a logical thing to do. The logical thing was to support Raila in 2008 after our ODM nominations. The logical thing was to support him in 2017 when we created NASA, because he became our presidential candidate. Now, that is being selfless, all right? So now we have moved on, and now we are getting to 2022. I've offered my candidacy. So what is clear is that people feel that I have been selfless.
Will we see your name
for
on the ballot?
Too long. So now I must tell you, my name will be on the ballot.
It will be on the ballot?
Yes.
All right. You've talked about the beautiful vision for Kenya, and many would be interested to be part of that vision and to be part of that journey. What is your game plan? What is the logical thing to do this time around 2022 for you, not just to be on the ballot, but to be the country's 5th president?
I think there's a lot of work to be done. First of all, to continue consolidating the ANC party, which we are doing. Secondly, it will be very important that we work towards establishing the right partnerships. This is going to be very critical, because clearly, for one to win that election, you must also work with other Kenyans and perhaps even other political parties through coalition arrangements. So we may not form them this year, but I can tell you that the dynamics of Kenya's politics is that you will see new coalitions beginning to emerge.
So is ANC exploring a possibility of such coalitions?
Of course, those will be explored. In our strategic thinking, we have to explore that, and we'll continue to do so until we are sure that we are working with the right kind of arrangement. Now, so that is critical. Marketing the party, consolidating the party, and reaching out to other Kenyans and other areas. And making sure we speak to the issues that are at the heart or at the core of Kenyans' feelings and minds. That is what we want to do.
All right. You're talking about a possibility of exploring coalitions that would work in support of the ANC party in terms of their dream and their vision for the country. What does that then mean for the NASA coalition? There are people who argue that it is on its deathbed. As part of the founders of this particular coalition, what can you say about that?
Yes, clearly NASA is in trouble. There's nothing one can hide about that. It is in trouble. We have seen that legally it exists, in the sense that all the constituent parties that formed NASA still remain in NASA, and not a single one of them has written officially to the Registrar of Political Parties to formally exit that coalition. So legally it exists. But in terms of operations, each party is really now consolidating itself and charting out the possibilities of new arrangements.
The latest news about your party is that your Secretary General, Barack Muluka, resigned today. Your comment on that, and probably is this going to have any impact on the party's plan and even your own plan for the 2022 presidential race?
First of all, let me say that yes, indeed, the Secretary General, Barack Muluka, did resign today. And I have a lot of regard for Barack Muluka. He came in when the party was going through a lot of challenges. He has made an immense contribution in stabilizing some of the issues that were affecting the party. Clearly, he's a man who thinks well, a man who has a lot of belief in principled processes. So, at a personal level, he's also a friend to me. So I feel that what is important is that everybody must feel comfortable in the environment that they are working in. And Barack has got other engagements, and he felt that he needed to have an opportunity to pursue those other engagements And at the same time, he felt that he wanted to disengage from the political scene at this point in time. I think he has made that public, that even as he resigns from ANC, he's not joining any political party until he decides otherwise. So as far as I'm concerned, we have lost a good Secretary General, a strong Secretary General. But what is important is that we must build institutions. And the time that he was there, he was helping in building the institution, so that institutions go beyond individuals. And ANC is primed to continue on its journey of seeking the leadership of this country.
Has this shaken the party in any way? Any plans to fill the void?
I think we will fill the void. When one of your good players is not on the pitch, naturally you have some concerns. But the good thing is that ANC is a team, and we shall move forward.
All right. Let's talk about what some political pundits say with regards to the current politics taking shape in the Western region. It's in the public domain, and somehow of the feeling that yourself and Mheshimiwa Moses Wetangula seems to be sidelined from the local politics that is happening across the region. I would cite examples of a meeting that happened in Kajiado at the home of Francis Atwoli. There was a recent meeting that was hosted by President Uhuru Kenyatta when he called leaders from the Western region. Your absence was really loud in that particular meeting. Your comments on that perception, maybe we can use this platform to clear that perception that you're sidelined from your local base.
Actually, I think they're most ridiculous, completely ridiculous. Sentiments, thoughts. I mean, it's demeaning for people to even imagine that. First of all, when you talk of the president, I put it very simply some time back when this question came, that we are not about to put political ventilators around the president of this republic as to who he should engage and who he should not engage. He's the president of the Republic of Kenya. He can meet anybody, anywhere, anytime. All right? Mm-hmm. So that is a non-issue in terms of, oh, he met so-and-so. My friend, let me ask you, how many people does the president meet from different parts of the country?
That is a given, but meeting...
No, it is cheap politics. It is the cheapest form of politics I've ever come across.
Mm-hmm. But it was a good number of leaders from the Western region. You're considered among the key leaders from that region.
When somebody, when we go there, and me and Wetangula, I'm a party leader, Wetangula is a party leader, even when there was the most ridiculous thing, that, oh, Musalia is going to be presidential candidate and Wetangula is going to be running mate. I mean, stupidity of that order. Do you think Musalia has lived in this country, been a politician, been a vice president? You think I don't know that you need to have a running mate from a different part of the country? I mean, how can people go so low?
So your local support base is solid?
Solid. So what is
we are asking this because you're going for a national seat. Yes, it all starts in your backyard, and we need...
No, solid base. Let's go back to history. Do you remember the time that Raila was a candidate and Orengo was a candidate on SDP or something?
But this elusive Luhya unity is something that we cannot run away from.
No. Was that not people from that place exercising their democratic right? They were. Let us stop this notion of imagining that you must have only one candidate from a particular community for you to come to the conclusion the community is united.
Is there or is there not differences in terms of among the leaders?
We are in different political parties. Multipartyism plays its part in Western Kenya just as much as it plays in. Atwoli is a life member of KANU. Oparanya is the deputy party leader of ODM. Eugene Wamalo is in Jubilee. So, in all these arrangements, so what did they want me to go and do? In Kajiado?
Well said. All right. There is also this other matter that, has been happening in our political space. There are quite a number of connotations that have been common outside yours. For example, you talked about the hustlers versus dynasties. There was one by the deputy president talking about the deep state. If you look at what is currently happening and what some key leaders like yourself are saying with regards to the trends that have happened in our country's leadership, do you think we are getting it in terms of understanding exactly what we need when it comes to the transition of leadership? And a good example of a seat to look at is a presidential seat.
We have problems in this country because people tend to go for the simplistic narratives. All right? So when you see a debate beginning to be created about dynasties and hustlers, somebody wants to avoid selling their ideology to the Kenyan people. They're trying to create a class situation and then simply hoodwink the Kenyan voter again. You're not telling Kenyans how you're going to create jobs. You're not telling Kenyans how you're going to consolidate devolution. You're not telling Kenyans how you intend to fight corruption. How our schools will be okay, how our hospitals will have medicine. But you want us to engage on a divisive debate, wewe ni hustler, mimi ni dynasty. Mimi ni dynasty, wewe ni hustler. And on the basis of that, we go and cast our vote. It's divisive politics.
Right now, we're having this conversation in the midst of a global pandemic, the coronavirus, which has brought the global, economy almost on its knees. If you are in a position of influence, if you're given the opportunity and you're told to provide, what would work in terms of an economic recovery plan? What would be your words to describe that plan?
First of all, let's just put it this way. It would be very prudent, very organized so that priorities are right, a frugal process. Why do I say this? One, the global economic situation has been devastated across the board. So even our international partners who would ordinarily intervene to help us are going to be struggling with their own economies. They're going to be struggling with losses of jobs in their own backyards. So they will not have that extra cent to try and buttress us. Therefore, that means that we must get our priorities right. We should not engage in reckless expenditure. We should make sure we clamp on corruption. We should make sure that we do not go into projects that have no immediate impact on the well-being of our country. So this would be my advice, and that would be the focus we would have.
Your comments on the allegations that money meant to fight COVID is actually ending up in the wrong hands for the wrong reasons.
It is a very sad thing. And if indeed the government does not respond to that, they'll have let the Kenyans down. I'll give you an example. And I will say it without naming the MP in question. But an MP, a member of parliament, came to me and he told me, do you know what has happened? I said, no, what has happened? He told me, my wife has been receiving on her phone 1,000 shillings stipend as part of the COVID intervention mechanisms for the needy people. So he asked me the question, can you imagine this? Is it only me? Is it a genuine mistake? Or is it deliberate? Because his question was that how can his wife be a recipient through the phone cash transfers through the phone for funds that are being disbursed for COVID to help the needy.
All right, Honorable Musalia.
So what I'm trying to say is that we must not allow COVID funds to be misused or to be misdirected.
Well said. It's been really nice having this conversation with you. I want you to look at that camera and talk to Kenyans. Why should they believe in you as your parting shot?
They need to believe in me because I stand for the people of this country. I want Kenya to be solid and to have a robust economy. I want to be able to create an environment where the economy of Kenya works for all and not an economy that works for a few elite people, but for all Kenyans. Mama Mboga, the carpenter, the fisherman, the farmer, the entrepreneur, the stock exchange investor, the banker, the teacher. We want an economy that works for everybody.
Thank you so much for your time. Honorable Musalia Mudavadi, the ANC party leader. It's already out there. He is going for the top seat come 2022. He wants your chance to become Kenya's 5th president. Will you grant him that opportunity? Will you be part of his vision for the country? That's a matter of wait and see. We were having him tonight just discussing more about what is happening in the country. My name is Safin Achieng Oma. It's now back to studio.